Hello everyone, and welcome to Skyrim Books. In this episode we'll be reading A Brief History of the Empire, Volume 3. A Brief History of the Empire, Part 3, by Strana Cathoy III, Imperial Historian. The first volume of this series told in a brief the story of the succession of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, of Tiber I to Kintra II. The second volume described the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors that followed its aftermath, from Uriel III to Cassander I. At the end of that volume, it was described how the Emperor Cassander's half-brother Uriel IV assumed the throne to the Empire of Tamriel. It was recalled that Uriel IV was not a Septim at birth. His mother, though she reigned as empress for many years, was a dark elf married to a true Septim emperor, Pelagius III. Uriel's father was actually Catria I's consort after Pelagius' death, a Breton nobleman named Galvier Lariat. Before taking the throne of empire, Cassander I had ruled the kingdom of Awayrest, but poor health and forced him to retire. Cassander had no children, so legally adopted his half-brother Uriel and abdicated the kingdom. 7 years later, Cassander inherited the empire at the death of his mother. 3 years after that, Uriel once again found himself the recipient of Cassander's inheritance. Uriel IV's reign was a long and difficult one. Despite being a legally adopted member of the Septim family, and despite the Lariat family's high position, indeed there were distant cousins of Septims, few of the other council could be persuaded to accept him fully as the blood descendant of Tiber. The council had assumed much responsibility during Catria I's long reign and Cassander I's short one, and a long-willed alien monarch like Uriel IV found it impossible to command their unswavering fealty. Time and time again, the council and the emperor were at odds, and time again, the council won the battles. Since the days of Pelagius II, the Elder Council had consisted of the wealthiest men and women of the empire, and the power they wielded was conclusive. The council's last victory over Uriel IV was post-Humius. Andorak, Uriel IV's son, was disinherited by vote of council, and a cousin more closely related to the original Septim line was proclaimed Sepphoris II in 3rd Area 247. For the first 9 years of Sepphoris II's reign, those loyal to Andorak battled the imperial forces, in an act that the sage Arentine called the Tiber Septim's heart beating no more. The council granted Andorak the High Rock kingdom of Schoenhelm to end the war, and Andorak's descendants still rule there. By and large, Sepphoris II had foes that demanded more of his attention than Andorak. From out of the Crimean nightmare, in the words of Arentine, a man who called himself the Camorian usurper led an army of Daedra and undead warriors on a rampage through Valenwood, conquering kingdom after kingdom. Few could resist his onslaughts, and his month turned to a bloody month. In the year 3rd Era 249, even fewer tried. Sepphoris II sent more and more mercenaries into Hammerfell to stop the usurper's northward march, but they were bribed or slaughtered and raised as undead. The story of the Camorian usurper deserves a book of its own. It is recommended that the reader find Hog's Ithrals, The Fall of the Usurper, for more detail. In short, however, the destruction of the forces of the usurper had little to do with the efforts of the emperor. The result was a great regional victory and an increase in hostility toward the seemingly infallacious empire. Uriel V, Sepphoris II's son and successor, swiveled opinion back toward the latent power of the empire. Turning the attention of the Tamriel away from internal strife, Uriel V embarked on a series of invasions, beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in 3rd Area 268. Uriel IV conquered Roskria in 271. Uriel V, Severus II's son and successor, swiveled opinion back toward the latent power of the Empire, turning the attention of Tamriel away from internal strife. Uriel V embarked on a series of invasions beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in Third Area 268. Uriel V conquered Roscrea in 271, Catholicque in 276, Yzlea in 279, and Escronate. Uriel V, Sepphoris II's son and successor, swiveled opinion back toward the latent power of the Empire, turning the attention of Tamriel away from internal strife. Uriel V embarked on a series of invasions beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in the Third Area 268. Uriel V conquered Roscrea in 271, Catholicque in 276, Yzlea in 279, and Escronate in 284. In Third Area 288, he embarked on his most ambitious enterprise, the invasion of the continent kingdom of Akavir. This ultimately proved a failure, for 2 years later, Uriel V was killed in Akavir on the battlefield of Lorinth. Nevertheless, Uriel V holds a reputation second to Tiber as one of those 2 great warrior emperors of Tamriel. The last 4 emperors, beginning with Uriel V's infant son, are described in the 4th and final volume of his series. And that was A Brief History of the Empire, Volume 3. Thank you. See you next time.